what you do is like when you're playing in like the national tournament, what you do is you shake out, when this is when you're very young, you put your hand out, you're like, I offer you to resign. That's what you do, and then they shake your hand because they think it's a draw, except you win the game. So that's what you do if you're like 5 years old. You stick your hand out, you're like, I offer you to resign. Let's do one more puzzle. Let's refresh the timer, put it back at 0, and let's go. Here we go. All right, so let's see. In this position, okay, this must be white to play and move. This looks quite tricky. First thing that comes to mind is the black king is kind of naked here on a4. It's a little bit open. However, if you go rook g1 to go for the checkmate, there's immediately queen to h8 covering the square on a1. So it cannot be rook to g1 because of queen h8 as far as I can tell. It's not a pawn move, it's not a king move. So that leaves, basically it has to be one of these two rooks. Now it could be rook c4, I suppose. I'm trying to think what this could be. Not easy. This is definitely going to be a difficult puzzle. Let's think for a second here. It could be rook. Wait, what's wrong with rook d6, rook d4 maybe? Oh wait, rook d6, he just goes to e2, check king a3. Rook c4, queen e8. No, it's no good. Okay. Let's think. Okay, what else can it be? Huh. This is a very, very tough puzzle, to put it mildly. It feels really, really, really difficult. What are the moves here? What are the moves? There's also rook g5. Wait, there's also rook g5 and sack. There's bro, I left How Did Hikaru Win Title Tuesday because I'm just that good. Rook g5 might just be winning here. Wait, rook g5. Wait, but then f3 takes here. F2, king e2, king b4, h6, king c3, h7, f1 takes here, h8, e2, king here, and it's a draw. Okay, wait, so rook g5, f3 takes, king d3, f2, e2, b4, h6, c3, h7, queen takes, king d2, and you lose. It's the draw. Okay, so it can't be rook g5, or if it is, you have to play a different move. What else can work? What else can it be? I mean, it could be king d3. Wait, could be king d3. True. Was that just my middle finger? Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. Whoops. Oopsie daisies. Whoops. Okay. Yikes. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Let's all right. Okay. Let's focus on the puzzle. Yeah, that was of course very unintentional. Sorry about that. Okay, rook g5 makes sense here. Rook g5, I mean, rook g5 f3 seems right, but I can't figure out the win. Very tricky, very, very tricky. Why not rook c4? Because after king a3, there's no way to win as far as I can tell. There might be. I mean, it could be rook c4. But my assumption is it's rook g5, queen check, and there's some way to win this. Or wait, no, wait a second. Wait, so rook here, queen here. You can also go king c4 maybe. Because there's no check. Actually, wait, I think it is just this king c4, king a3 takes king b2, but you don't have a win there either. Huh. Rook g5 seems like the right move. So wait, so rook g5, queen check, rook e5, queen d8, takes, h6 f3, king d3 wins. So when you go here, queen d8 is the big question mark. Oh wait, actually wait, no, sorry, that's not the question mark. Rook here f3 is the question mark. Yeah, okay. So rook g5, there's just f3. Huh. Huh, this is very difficult. Yeah, this one's not easy. What are the moves here? Let's see. This is difficult. They're just because there really aren't many moves here. Like, what are the moves even? It's not. I mean, it's not a pawn push. It's not a king push. Rook c4, king a3 doesn't. I think it has to be a rook move. I'm pretty confident it's a rook move because rook c4, king a3 doesn't make any sense, and there are no other rook moves that make sense. So it has to be one. It has to be the rook on g6. It has to be the rook on g6. I just have to figure out what the square is. What do I know doesn't work? These two make no sense. This makes no sense. This makes sense. So this does not make sense. Not really, at least. Okay. So if rook g1, there's queen h8. So okay, so we know these four make no sense. We know these two make no sense. We know this makes no sense. I mean, almost none of these moves make sense anywhere. So therefore, it has to be rook g5. But after rook g5, f3, where's the win? I mean, it could be king d3, f2. No. What can it be? This is very, very difficult. No, I mean, the thing is, you guys, after here check king a3, if you go rook c4, there's still queen e8. Like, this is still very tricky. This is extremely tricky. Queen e8, and there's no way to win. King b3. Wait. No, there's no way to win. This is tricky. Yeah, taking on a5 doesn't work. Just for you guys who are wondering, it doesn't win. I'll tell you why this doesn't win. Because you have to go over, and then it's basically a draw here. You get to this position, you think you win. Black makes a queen, and black gets down and makes a queen too. So that's why it's a draw. So that's why it's not as simple as just sacking here. But I'm trying to find a move other than rook g5 that makes sense. And this is where I'm getting really stuck. So I'm having trouble coming up with any other moves here besides rook g5. Like rook g1, there's just queen h8 covering the square, and it's just you're just losing. So like, this is the thing. I mean, yeah, you're actually right though. With rook g1 check, there is king c4, but after queen b2, you're definitely not winning. Yeah, king c4, there's queen b2, so it's not. But it's not rook g1. But if it's not rook g5 f3, I just can't find the concept unless it's check king a3 rook here, but then a4. No, it doesn't. That doesn't do anything. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Oh man, what are the moves? I mean, rook g5 is what you try to do is you try to come with candidate moves. Do you just, what do? You ask black nicely to resign? Yeah, that's like, there's a good story. I remember my stepfather told me this from like Scholastic chess, where what you do is like when you're playing in like the national tournament, what you do is you shake out, you know, when you're very young, you put your hand out, you're like, I offer you to resign. That's what you do, and then they shake your hand because they think it's a draw, except you win the game. So that's what you do if you're like 5 years old. You stick your hand out, you're like, I offer you to resign. Okay, so let's see. Okay, what else is there? Yeah, that's actually happened. I've heard that happen on a couple occasions. That's not even like one time. I've heard like there are people who do it. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's a 5-year-old tactic, exactly. So what are the moves here? Like, I'm really stuck. Rook g5 seems like the only move. They're like rook f6, just queen h8. Rook e6, just even like queen b2. Rook d6. I mean, it could be, but the problem with rook d6, I guess, just e2 check king a3, and you have no mate. So okay, so I know these four squares make no sense. This does nothing because again, you can just push. So it's like rook b6 is the only square that makes sense on this rank. But rook b6, queen h8, and I mean, there's no way you're winning. I don't think. King c2, there's check. King c, no, I mean, you're not winning. So it can't be a move on the 6th rank here. You can't go to any of these squares. So if you can't go to any of these squares, then what else can it be? It's definitely not here. Definitely. I mean, it could be one of these two. It's not G3, G2, or G1. That really only leaves these two squares. So I'm really hard pressed. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. No, wait a second. I thought I had an idea. I thought I could go here, here, and then check here, and like here, queen check and mate, but he can sack the queen, so no. The rook d6, d2, rook d6, e2. What makes sense there? Nothing. You just don't have anything. Why is rook g4 no good? Well, I assume on rook g4, first of all, I think black can go like queen e4 maybe, but I think after rook g4 also black can play like e2. Like there are too many options, so I think it has to be rook g5 f3. Oh, I think I might. No, there's f2. I got it. I think I just got it. I think I just got it. Wait a second. It just popped into my head. I have a different staircase ladder here, don't I? I have a different staircase ladder. I have a different ladder here. I think it's here, here. Is it rook g4 or rook c4? Wait, there's a different ladder and there are no checks. But there's a4 still. Wait, it's still not easy. No, wait. I thought it was here, here, check. King e3, king c2 to go rook c3 and rook a4. But after here, 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 king c2, there's still a4 and it's still not easy. Whoa, this is still very tricky. King c2, a4. a4, wow, this is brutal. Very brutal. Wait, so then rook e3, rook c3, king a2, rook b4, a3, and you just have nothing. Man, I thought I just had it. Thought I had it and it doesn't work. I was sure that I had it. I was sure that it was this check here, king here, but a4. Oh wait, a4. There's rook b4. Wait a second. Wait, I think I just got it. Wait, so check. Wait, rook g5, f3, check king here, a4, rook c3 check, king a2, rook b4, a3, king c1, and you have rook c2, rook c2, and rook b1. Wait, but actually, wait, there's queen h8, still rook c2, and still not. Wait, it's still not easy because the line that I'm looking at is here, 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 check, here, rook b4, a3, king c1, queen h8. Because if you check, I can then go queen b2 check, takes, king a3. And you can't actually stop my two pawns from queening there. Wait a second, this is really complicated. a3, king c1, queen h8. Oh, wait, you have king a3. Oh my gosh, you know what this is? I got it, you guys. I think I got it. I thought I had it. Wait a second. I think it's here, here, check here, 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 check here, 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 a3, king c1, queen h8, rook c2, queen b2, takes here, king a b1 takes, e2. Yeah, e2, and then you go rook b8, king a3, king d2, and you win. And if he goes f2, if he goes f2, you go king here, here, h6, king c. No, wait, no, that doesn't work. Queen takes f2. I just have to find the win on f2. Oh, f2, h6, e2, check, h7. e1, knight, king b3. Yes, I got it. Yeah, I just figured it out. The way you win is you go rook g5, f3, check king here, then you go here, a4, rook c3, king a2, rook b4, a3, king c1, queen h8, rook c2 check, queen b2, takes here, queen takes, f2, you go h6, e2, check takes, h7, e1, knight to hit the king, king b3, f1 queen, h8 queen, king b1, queen b2 checkmate. That's it. I think I just got it. I got it. I just got it. That's it, right? That has to be right. It's rook g5, f3. Now the point is, if black doesn't go f3, it's over. So let's just say black goes e2 here. You go takes here, king d2, and on f3 you just go h6 because the pawns can't push down the board, and you just win. No, I know I got it right. It's funny if it's wrong, I know, but I know it's right. I know it's right. You're surprised it took me that long? Yeah, because the thing is, like, it's still very tricky at the end there because of where the pieces are. Someone can clip it, of course. But the point is, like, this is winning, right? So after rook g5, if black goes e2, you just go into the end game. If black checks on h8, you go rook to e5 here, and now it's still checkmate. So the only thing black can do is if he sacks, you just take, and the pawns are glued. They can't push forward because they support each other. And if you go like queen d8 or something, now I just take, and I go king d3. And again, pawns don't go anywhere. Pawns can't push up the board, and now this one is just 1 2 3 to win the game. I think it's right. Let's see, is it right? It says zeros. Wait, is it not picking up the depth? Stockfish, it is rook g5, right? Or am I wrong? Come on, Stockfish, depth 30 and you don't see it. Depth 32. It's not a draw though. It's not a draw. I know it's winning. Okay, let's play the move. Let's see. So as I said, you guys, the point here is that black has no moves. If you push the pawn, we conclude that pushing, I play the endgame, right? So you can't push e2. If you move the queen over, I just block. If you go like queen here or something, I can still do the same thing. I just take and go here. Pawns are glued. You can't push them. So it's just winning. So basically what you're left with here is that you can't move the king, can't move the pawn, you can't move the queen. So the only move left is f3, of course. And now what you do is you go rook g. You don't take, because as I pointed out, this is actually a draw. It looks winning, but it's not. You go here, f2, king e2, and black's just in time. King b4, h6, king c3, h7, queen takes, king d2, queen e2, and black gets a queen, and it's just a draw here. So you don't take. So what you do is you go rook g4 check, and now it spots it. As soon as I input rook g4, it spots it. It spots it. As soon as you input the move, it spots it, because now after king a3, you go king c2. See, the original idea that I had here, which is what helped me solve it, was I saw this idea, but this doesn't work because after e2 check king a3, you go king c2 to line up the same kind of mate. Black makes a queen and covers the square. So that's what really helped me figure it out. So it's here, check king a3, king c2. So now black has like no real move. So you push either pawn, I just go check and mate. See, so you can't push either of these two pawns. So what are the other moves you have to prevent rook c3? Well, you can't move your king, of course, because it's mate as well. So you can't move these three. If you move the queen, there really aren't any squares. The only square that would make sense is like here. So that on check here, there's no checkmate. But if you go to e8, I can just take this one. And again, it's just going to be a checkmate here. So you can't move the queen here. You can't really move your queen here even because it's the same thing with mate. So what you're left with is that you can't move the pawns or the queen or the king. So you have to go pawn to a4 here. And now what you do is you go check on c3, hit the king. King can't go back to b4 because of course I'll just take the king. So king to a2, and now what you do is you go rook b4. You line up the ladder the other way. So after rook b4, same problem. There's no check on e4 because I just take the queen, and I'm threatening to go rook b2. So like e2 check, king a1, rook a3, checkmate. So in this position you can't push the two pawns. Again, if you move the king, you get mated as well. Can't move the king, can't move the two pawns. Really, there's only the one check. Any other queen move, same thing. Just classic checkmate here. So again, you're in the position where the only move is to push the pawn to a3. And now what you do is you go king to c1 to line up rook c2 and rook b1, the same ladder here. And what black, again, if black plays e2, you go check here and mate. Same thing with f2, exact same pattern, check here and mate. So you can't move either of these two pawns. If you go king a1 here, I go check, king a2, rook c2, mate. So you can't move the two pawns and you can't move your king here. So that means the only piece you can move is the queen. Now again, if you move the queen to like d5, it's the same thing, check here and mate. So the only square you can go to is h8, because now when I make the check on c2, you can block in between with queen b2 here. And this also took me a little bit to figure it out, because at first I was thinking takes king a3, and I'm like, there must be a way to stop the pawns, but you actually cannot stop the black pawns here. So you go down, I go f2, rook f8, and now I go e2. And again, one of the pawns, I guess you can throw in the check, but one of these pawns is going to get to the end of the board and you're going to resign the game here. So you can't really go around, you can't go to any, there's no rook move here. And if you go king c2, same thing, just f2, rook b1, e2. You can't stop the two pawns, so you have to be very, very careful how you play this. But the reason it's winning is that you don't actually have to take the pawn. You can go king to c2 here, and because of where the king is placed, if you could take this king and put it almost anywhere else on the board, this would be fine for black. But because the king is on a2, it's losing. So if you push either e2 or f2 here, like e2, there's mate, f2 also mate, so you can't push the two pawns. If you go king a1, there's mate. If you go king to a3 here, I then go rook to b3 check. If king a2, I just take king a1, and I think very simply like rook to b5, king a2, and rook a5 is checkmate. And if you go to a3, I just check, take the pawn, come over, gobble the last pawn, and win the game. So of course in this position you're not going to move, you can't move the king and you can't move the two pawns. So the only other move that exists here is to play pawn to b1 queen. Only move that makes sense, right? But now what white can do is white can play rook takes queen, and when you go, let's just say you go pawn to e2, there are many ways to win this, but probably, are there many ways to win this? I was gonna say there are, because I think on e2 you can even go king d2 here, takes h6, and your pawn is too fast and black's pawns are stuck here. The king's on the right side. If the king was on this side, then black could come in, but with the king here, it shields the black, it boxes the black king out, the king can't get in and you win. So the obvious move here that black plays is pawn to f2 here. And again, it's the same situation where if you try to go king d3 to stop the pawns, after takes king e2, king c2, we get the same endgame from a slightly different order where black is again able to get a queen, and this would be a draw. So therefore, the way that you win the game is here, after pawn to f2, you go pawn to h6. And now after e2, there's a very important move here, which is that you do not push the pawn, because after black queens, again, this would be a draw, but you go rook to a1 check. Now after king a1, you go h7. If black queens this pawn, it's the same thing. You queen with check and make a mate. If black pushes the e pawn, you go check and make a mate. If black moves the king, you just make the queen, and you're just going to checkmate on b2 anyway. So the only move that black can play here is to under promote the pawn to a knight. But after black under promotes to a knight, what you do here is you now go king to b3. And this is, again, completely over, because when black makes a queen, you queen, king b1, and you go queen to b2. Checkmate, end of game.